We're glad you joined us. Today we have special friends from a company called Simple Transitions, and this is Janell McGill and Alice Toscano. Welcome.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to having you guys on the show. So Simple Transitions is a simple process of helping people find the next best place, right?
That's right.
Okay. So kind of give us an idea of how you guys got started. I know that you have a rich history of working with people.
Alice and I met, we worked at Ethan Allen for about 10 years, and so we actually have design background, so it was easy to kind of transition that background and the work that we're doing right now. It was an added benefit. So as far as helping seniors, we started by actually helping some of our clients at Ethan Allen move and transition from one home to another. And I had actually, my father lived in a retirement place for a time before he passed away, and I can just remember my sister, who is an interior designer, she and I made his room look so beautiful, and we just brought in a lot of personal things, and I thought, and there was such a positive response to it, and I thought, someday I just want to be able to do this for people, because it made an environment for people to visit, positive, and then also for the person there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow.
So that was kind of like the seed that was planted, and then it evolved from there.
I think that's the best way.
It really is.
Because it's not really something you planned, but something that you enjoyed and have a passion for, and then found a way to help others with it.
Yes.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
with that, I met Janell at Ethan Allen, and we would work on projects together, and found that we worked well together. So we did move one of her clients who was a professional, and she needed to get to her new location and start her new job, and she really didn't have time to fuss with the move.
Yeah.
So we had all the information that we needed, and that was the beginning. We moved her to Sacramento, and we had her installed. We met the movers there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock that evening, she was completely installed.
And it was a 2-story house,
Seriously,
and there was 3 movers, and there was like a mound of blankets and a big semi-truck.
Yeah. So that's where we knew there was a need, and then it moved forward with seniors, and that's where seniors became that's where it became more of a focus for us, because families are busy. When you live in a home for 20, 30, 40 years, where do you begin?
Well, that's just it. You know, that's one of the things that I think is really, valuable, but if I'm wrong, you correct me, but my experience tells me that a lot of the people that you probably could serve are maybe not in a crisis, but it might be around the corner, and maybe there are a few that are in crisis. And I know from what we do, we want our clients and their families to focus on the most immediate need and the most important need, which is basically taking care of mom or dad. So you find that a lot of the folks are in a situation where maybe not crisis, but
Right.
I think we've had both. We've definitely had both. That people that have planned. Like, we're currently working with some clients that a year ago they heard our presentation, and then just recently decided, okay, it's time for us to make this move. We helped them get their home in order, like staged it, sold it the next weekend.
Wow.
So that's another thing that we help our clients, as well as moving them. We can help them prepare their home to be sold.
Well, that's huge, especially going back to what you said. If somebody, a lot of people they live in their home 30, 40 years. I'm moving right now, as you know, and we've only been there 3 years right now. And I'm thinking, my gosh, what are we doing with all this stuff?
Right.
You know, how did this? I think it multiplies without you knowing about it. You know, and before that, we lived somewhere about 6 years and had no idea we had so much stuff. And so people accumulate, and especially the older generation.
Yes.
You know, tends to hold on to things more so, and so there's not only you know, probably not much of a practical need for some things, but it's certainly a sentimental, or you know, I could, like my father-in-law always says, well, I just might need that someday.
Yeah.
So,
just like Janell referred to, we've had both. So we've even had clients that not sure when. And so we do bring that up and tell them that, you know, it's a good time to do it when you can still make those decisions for yourself.
Yes, no kidding.
And you have full control over the move. You have full control of where you're going. And you're healthy, you know. And so you're able to move to a new location, and you get situated a lot easier. And, you know, you acclimate to the place a lot better.
Especially if there's a couple, like we recently moved a couple from Southern California, and it was, you know, a husband and wife, and then shortly after they moved, the husband passed away, but that gave her time to get kind of settled and acclimated, made friends, and so she wasn't just having to move without her husband.
I was going to say it'd be much harder afterwards, I would think. So, wow, this is rich. So I think we're going to break for a commercial real quick, because I've got a really important question I want to ask, but I want to give you time to answer it. So this is Truth for Seniors. So we're going to be right back with Simple Transitions, Janell and Alice. So we're back with Truth for Seniors, having a great conversation. And you know, one of the things that I've seen through the years is people know that they probably aren't in the best place at home. Maybe home has been home for 30, 40 years, and it's too much, and they aren't able to keep it as clean, and they realize that there's you know, maybe carpet, and they're not able to, you know, walk around too well on it. Maybe they trip and fall. The maintenance is too much from a physical or financial, but the kids aren't able to help them. Maybe the kids aren't even in town. But people don't really know how to get to the next step, I think, a lot of times. And so that's what I see in talking with you. But when people are looking at, you know, doing this, finding simple transitions, what's kind of the process that people go through?
Well, the process that we do, we're usually referred to a client, or if a client is just calling us, we'll ask them a few questions like, where are you moving to? Because we want to see the apartment or facility that they're moving to, so we have an idea in our minds when we're at their home, you know, what they want to take, if it's going to fit in their home, in their new place. So we generally would go to the facility, go to their home, measure all of the furniture pieces, everything that they want to take, because there's, you know, things that they love, and we want to make sure that they get all of those. And then from there we go home. On our computers, we do like a floor plan to scale, so that we make sure that they're going to have, you know, easily mobility to, if they have a walker, or if they need to get around their space. And
do we happen to have a picture of that? There you go. Wow.
So that gives you
the real deal, huh?
Right. And then we meet with them the second time, and then we go, we get their approval of the floor plan, and then we can pack someone up. So the next step would be packing them up.
Okay.
So we can pack someone up like on a Friday and totally move them in the next day and have everything set up.
Really?
That's what.
And live to tell about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So regarding that floor plan, when we get the floor plan, and like Janell says, they give the final okay on that.
Sure.
There's changes that have been made in the past. Sometimes they do want to bring something, and we have to explain, okay, we can take this out, because like Janell referred to, there has to be traffic flow that's open for them to walk on, to walk through. in one case where you mentioned, like the home that they live in for 40 years has become a almost something to where it's a trip hazard. It's become, it's become a dangerous zone. So when we've moved, the one client that you saw with the floor plan, he had a lot of stuff. So we helped him filter through that, and a lot of stuff is memorable to him. So we take that in consideration, and we, because those are the things that mean the most to them. So we want them to go with them, and that's what we ask them.
And you even showed me something. Sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes when the space is limited, instead of having like a bookcase that maybe wouldn't fit, you put like shelves on the wall and put the stuff on there so that you're making the best use of the space.
Yes.
I had a couple good ideas just talking to you, when we spoke the other day, and it's like, oh yeah, that works. And so,
I
imagine that's really, really critical to somebody.
It is. I mean, those are the things you want to be surrounded by things you love. And so we are very sensitive to that, and they're able, and that's the good thing about being able to make your own decisions, telling us what's important, rather than the children doing that for you. So this gentleman that we moved, he was an avid car collector. He loved antique cars, and he had a really great collection of these cars that he wanted to take with him. And so we did floating shelves, and we're able to put those on there. So he was in the military band, so we did a little military wall band, for him.
Yeah.
So it was.
That's really cool.
And we actually had to make a quick change because the room that he was going to have was a lot larger. And then the day before we went there, they said, "Oh no, this is the smaller room."
Seriously.
So we said, "Okay, we can't take the curio. How are we going to display these cars?" So then we went to Lowe's and bought floating shelves, and they're high ceiling, so
it worked out perfectly.
we had all of his vintage cars and books, and so it worked out well. Didn't take up floor space.
Yeah, and every client is unique in that. And so we had one client who has a wall of pictures of generations that just go from the start to current. And so we just, all of that, it's really fun. So that's where our design background comes into play. And how their house was for so long. We take all their possessions and make it new again in their new place. So
I would imagine with your experience, you can probably walk into somebody's home in just a few minutes, know what's important to them without even asking.
We can,
I can see why that would be something of value. So I think I know the answer to this, but when people use somebody like you, you're pros, you have great background in interior design, what's the biggest value people get for using Simple Transitions?
Well, time. Time is important. A lot of our clients some of our clients don't have families that live locally, and even if they do, they have families that their lives are busy. And so time is one of them. Another one is we help them filter through all of their treasures. And so we're able to decluttering, we're able to show them, because most of the facilities that they move to here locally we're familiar with, so we have a visual already of what can fit and what won't fit. And so we help them make those decisions for that. Another thing is you're not having to depend on people and their schedules to come and help, and so that's another.
I'm dealing with that this week.
Yes, can you come?
That's why it kind of takes a week to move,
exactly.
Because
usually yes isn't the first answer. Yeah.
You're right. That's
yes isn't the first answer. And then another thing is that you have the manpower. You have people that are hired and know how to do this. Organization is big in this. We label every box. We know which room it's going in. when the movers come, they just take it right to that room. So
we schedule the movers too. So we virtually do everything for the client. They don't have to do anything. We provide all of the packing materials. We dispose of everything. We really like for the client not to be there, so that when they walk in, everything is in place, and what they had originally seen as just a really generic room instantly becomes their home.
Wow.
And it's just almost like they can take a deep breath, and the transition just becomes, seamless and stressless, and it's really, they're overjoyed. It's actually a really emotional experience for them, because
I'm picturing, the whole
reveal.
What's the show on? Yeah, they got the big thing on wheels, and they can't see. They're standing in front of their home, and then goes away, and probably a similar experience, I'm sure.
It is.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And they're willing. I mean, they're just so grateful because they don't have to do anything. We had one client said, "Well, I can do this," and I go, "Well, you don't have to. We can do that." And they go, "Oh, okay." And they were trying to make our job easier, and we're going, "You don't have to." We know, and we like to pack because then we know where everything is, and so that's been our We've had clients that when we reveal, we say, if you can't find something, call us. We'll tell you where it's at.
And we know exactly where it's at.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. We've packed it. We've put it away.
Hey, that's worth it right there. I mean,
it is.
How many of us, when we move, we're not done moving, right? It takes way too long. So, all right. So we're going to take another quick break. Truth for Seniors is sponsored by Angelioni Enterprises, the Angels Who Care. The most awesome people. I can't say it enough. But we're visiting with Janell and Alice from Simple Transitions, and I don't think you're going to want to miss what we're going to talk about next. So I'll catch you real quick. And we're back with Truth for Seniors, and before I forget, because I already have twice, I want to give a shout out to everybody watching on Facebook, Truth for Seniors channel, and Central Valley Talk.com and the Central Valley Talk YouTube. So hello to everyone. Glad that you're with us. We're here every Wednesday from 2 to 3 on Central Valley Talk, and appreciate the opportunity. So we're visiting with Janell and Alice with Simple Transitions. In my opinion, the experts on helping people transition and do it the best way possible. So in this last segment, I want to talk about something that we've discussed, and it's very important. You know better than I do that the process of moving has a physiological effect on people, and obviously there's a physical effect. You've got to move. There's emotions tied into it. So one of the values I see of using somebody like you is that you're reducing all of that impact, the negative, possibly, the stress. Is that accurate?
Yes.
I would say yes.
And I think that's where we come in with the name Simple Transitions. We try to make it as simple as possible, and we take the client consideration very highly as far as, how much we can help them to make it easier for them. Okay. So they're able to let us know how much of our help they need, and we really try to, or we do. We just kind of go in there and make it as easy. We've done it so many times that it's something we look forward to, even in the packing, because it starts the process, and then you have the middle part of it, and then you're coming to the end of the road to where you're setting up the whole home. So our goal is to get our clients set up. We pack them one day, and we set them up the next day. Wow. And so there's not a gap that's huge in the middle for them to be displaced.
Well, just that itself, I mean, man, who can get that done in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
That's worth whatever it costs right there. Good grief. Just, I mean, that's the real value. So, well, I know that, because of who you are, you develop relationships with people, and they're ongoing, and I think that's part of what really drew me to to appreciate you guys, but you have a story that I think is worth sharing that
I do.
kind of just epitomizes what we're talking about.
And we do. We truly love our clients, and we're passionate about what we do. And one client in particular, he was a single man in his 90s, and we were referred to him. So we met with him, and he was, showed us around his home. It was a home that he and his wife lived in for 50 years.
Oh, wow.
And had lots of memories. And he was kind of reluctant to be moving, but his family thought that it was the right time for him.
Sure.
And but he wasn't quite ready. He was in tears. And Alice and I said, okay, can we pray for you? We held his hands. We prayed with him. And so we just thought, well, we'll give him some time. And I would say a week later, he called us up and he says, I don't want you to forget about me. And so we said, okay, are you ready? And he says, yeah, I think I'm ready now. So we went over there. He had found a place to live.
Okay.
And then we got him all set up and moved him. And his family was out of state, so I was kind of dealing with a nephew out of state.
Okay.
And then about a year later, he passed away. And so the nephew called me and said, I would like for you to go to my uncle's place, and there's some things that I want you to pack up and send to family members. And and we had built up a relationship because I'd talked to him on the phone,
Sure.
many times, and he was happy with our move. And so when that time came, I was just thinking there's all of these things that maybe they should be at his memorial, like some of his memorabilia. And so I volunteered to set up his memorial. I took pictures to the funeral home. We selected a picture for his little memorial card. And I had it all set up, and then I finally got to meet the nephew.
Really? Okay.
And
that's
so
cool.
he was at the memorial, and so it was. And the nephew said, I only want you to be there in his room. So he trusted me with his wallet, his jewelry, all of his personal belongings.
Wow.
I think Alice was out of town that weekend or something, and so I did it myself, and it was really a joy to do it. And so that was just one story, and so we have many more, and they're truly a blessing. We have asked God to let us be a blessing to people, and but actually we are so blessed when we do.
And when we move somebody, you can't help but get to know them.
That's right.
Better
than you
do.
probably would any other way.
We really get to know our clients, and so we're grateful for the opportunity to do that. We do. We're born and raised in Fresno, so when we did start this business, we knew that we wanted to give back to the community. So 10% of what we make for every move, we donate to the Family Healing Center.
Awesome.
And it's a nonprofit organization locally, and it deals with, I believe, women and children. And so the Fresno Police Department and Clovis Police Department use that facility as well.
Wow.
So that's been our goal from the get-go, that we knew that we wanted to be a blessing, but we wanted to bless others with that too. So that's what we do with Simple Transitions. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. I've already told you this, but I'm in the middle of a move this week, and I wish I would have done this about a month ago, and probably would have made my life a little bit easier, a lot easier, I'm sure. But folks, I just want to add my 2 cents that I've seen a lot of clients move from their home into assisted living communities and residential care, and while you can do it with some input, and while you can do it with an understanding of what you're doing and enjoy the process. I mean, who wouldn't enjoy letting somebody do all that? I mean, you have to be called. I was thinking about this when you shared. You have to be called to do this to enjoy packing. I mean, come on,
yes.
seriously.
We've had people look in and go, "Oh, I feel bad. You're packing." We're like, we love it. It's all part of being organized, you know. So if you have a passion for organization, it comes with
that's definitely a calling, I'm sure. So, but who wouldn't enjoy that? And the value to me, one of the values, there's many, but one of them is knowing that you're in and done. And what we all dread is a lot of it's handled by you. And so, you know, so take advantage of them when you are able to enjoy the process and not having to do it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys are such a blessing, not just to me, but I know
Thank you.
to Ron and others, many, many others. And so this is Janell McGill and Alice Toscano with Simple Transitions. You can reach them through info@yoursimpletransition.com. And I'll bet we have a phone number, but why don't you give it to us real quick?
289-3306.
Perfect. Thanks again. It's Truth for Seniors. We're going to be back real quick with our final guest, and so we'll be right back.